Hi guys, welcome to this episode of this Power BI course. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at Power Query. Understanding how to clean data using Power Query. So what's our learning objectives for today's episode is to understand the purpose of Power Query for data cleaning and perform data cleaning tasks such as remove duplicates, fix errors, transform data types, and so many other things. Firstly, we would like to look at why is data cleaning important. Well, if you don't clean your data properly, it's going to lead you to bad decisions. And it's going to cost the business a lot of money. If not money, I mean resources and maybe human power as well. Another reason is because 80% of analysis time is actually on cleaning and preparing data. That section is one of the most important aspects of data analysis, data cleaning. So you want to take it very seriously. And then we'll look at Power Query. Power Query is a data cleaning tool that is used to automate and simplify data cleaning. And in today's episode, we are also going to be looking at Power Query. I'm excited. So now moving into Power Query, what exactly is Power Query? Power Query is a data connection and transformation tool that is available on Excel and in Power BI also. So whatever you learn in Power Query and Excel is the same in Power BI as well. So if you've learned Power Query in Excel, congratulations to you. However, you can still learn one or two things here. Why Power Query? One of the reasons why I like Power Query is its drag and drop feature. It excludes you from the coding experience. Let's say low coding. The high coding experience. And it provides you with no coding experience, or let's say a little bit of coding experience, because by the time you start writing DAX functions, you understand what I mean. Overall, Power Query I would consider you can consider a low code or no code experience basically, and it automates repetitive data cleaning tasks. That's why Power Query is very, very important. Now, how does the Power Query workflow works? First, you want to connect to all your data. So you want to gather your data from multiple sources, and then you transform it using some powerful tools and functionalities on Power Query to transform your data to something that is ready for analysis, and then you load it into Power BI or Excel, as the case may be. But in this context, we are talking about Power BI. So you load the data into Power BI for data visualization and analysis. What are the key features of Power Query? First, you have connect to multiple data sources. So you can use Power Query to connect to multiple data sources. You can transform data visually. So that means you can see what you are transforming. So as you apply a step to your data to transform it, you can see how the changes is coming about. So you can actually track your data transformation journey. And then next is it combines multiple data sets. Yes, it can combine multiple data sets by merging them or by appending them basically. Then you talk about repeatable and refreshable process. So you can automate the process, and then you can do some refreshing process as well. So what are the common data cleaning tasks? First is removing duplicates. So duplicates are records that appear more than once. They're not supposed to be there. They're supposed to appear once. Unique records basically. Then we have handling missing data. Handling missing data would be, if there's any missing data, how do you undo it? So there are many methods at which you can undo missing data. Anyways, more video on that. Then changing data types. sometimes when you load Power data onto Power Query, the data type might not be well formatted, so you need to manually change that and change it to the correct data type. So Power Query can help you with that. Then you have splitting columns, cases where you have joined columns together. You might want to split them. Say for instance, full name it's together and you want to split it to first name and last name, so you can split the column into first name and last name. Then you have merging queries, so with that you can merge tables together, you can merge queries together, and you can do different kind of merging, and you can even append basically. And then you filter rows, so if you don't want to see certain Power BI data, you can actually filter them, and when you load them on Power BI they will not appear. So those rows that you filter, you will not be able to see them by the time you load them on Power BI. So now let's try to get our hands dirty in the mud, and let's go straight into Power BI and get into Power Query to get things done. Yeah, welcome into Power BI. Now we're going to open Power Query from Power BI. So how do you open Power Query from Power BI? First thing you have to do is come to Home ribbon. And from the Home ribbon, you're going to see queries. Under that, above that, you're going to see transform data. So you're going to click on that. It opens up Power Query editor. So that's that's the passage to get into Power Query. Alright, so Power Query has been opened. Now we need to load our data from here. Alright, so let's try to open our data from Power Query. So from new source, I click the drop down arrow, and then the file we're trying to connect to is a text CSV file. Then this, then OK. Alright, good. So we have a preview of what our data set looks like. So we can see what our data set look like. And then I can click OK to load this into Power Query. Alright, good. So we have this data loaded into Power Query. Now I want you to look at each column so you can see the column. Then I want you to look at just behind the column. You can see the data type. So behind E, you can see ABC. So if I click on that, you see the different kinds of number data type format that we have. We have decimal numbers. So if that column is a decimal number, you put that as one that fixed decimal. Say you're dealing with money, maybe anything currency, that's when you use fixed decimal because it has two decimal places basically. Then O number when there is no decimal, percentage, then date time, and so on. Then you can see text, binary, and all of that. So this is a text because it's a ID, EMP, then employee full name, you can see ABC, then department items ABC, which is text, as you can see the values inside the column. Then you have 1.2, which is price, which I think should be fixed decimal because of it is price. So I would say replace current. Good. So I change this to a number so you can see it added a comma to it to be able to read it clearly. Then you have purchase date, so this is the date, it's a date format, so date icon is in front of it. And then you have quarter is about Q1, that's text, right? So these data types are actually very cool. Okay, so I want you to take a look at the green bar just beneath the header of the column. So just over your mouse around it and then remove your hand, just don't press anything, just over around those green line and then stop hovering. So you have employee ID, so you can see that the value is about that's about 103. That error is free error, no empty. And then you can see the bar is full, the same thing comes here. Yeah, the same thing comes here. So item prices, you have 100 item prices, that means 3 is missing, and then you have 3 empty, 3%. Okay, that's fine. Let's check for the date. As you can see, everything is fine, no error, no blank space, no error, no blank space. So the only one that has error and blank space is this item price USD. Alright, good. So but before we do that, the very first step in data cleaning is to remove duplicate. I can't overemphasize this. Remove duplicate. That's the first data cleaning task you should do. So now let's try to remove duplicate from this. Now, what are we going to use to remove duplicates? If there's a unique identifier in your dataset, I advise that you use the unique identifier to remove the duplicates. And if you don't have, you have to select all the columns to remove duplicates. All right, let's select employee ID. Employee ID is unique. That means every employee would have an employee ID associated to him or her. So I would click on this column, right click, and then I can see all the things that you can do. So this is like a shortcut to all of the tabs that are at the top here, at top of the ribbon and groups and all of the things. Once you right click on a column, most of the things that you want to do, you will find them here. Alright, good. So I've right clicked on the column, and what I want to do is I want to remove duplicates. So if I remove duplicate on this column, it removes every other duplicate rows. So I remove duplicates. Good. And if you notice, you can see what is here, applied steps. You can see I changed data type. When I was changing data type, it's recorded it here. I also removed duplicate, it's recording it here. So this is like a way to document your data cleaning process basically. So it helps you to track what you've done. You can cancel some of them and it goes back to its original position. Now we have done removing of duplicates. If there are more than one column, what you're going to do is you're going to click here and then go to the last part of the data and then press down shift and then hit the cursor, the last part. So it's going to highlight all the columns and then you can right click and then remove duplicates that way. Alright, good. Then the next thing is to deal with the missing values. So we have about 3 missing values. So what do we do to that? I feel like we should actually replace it. So we're going to replace it with 1019. Anyways, I've done my calculation to ensure that 1019 is the most suitable value for the missing values. Anyways, I'm actually using the mean of all these values to put in those missing values. Anyways, I think I would have to create a video on data cleaning, statistics for data analyst and all of that. Yeah, so the next thing is replace. So we're going to replace all these empty blanks, all the blanks, with 1019. Okay, so let's do that. Right click, like I said, almost everything you want to do can be done here. So let's see. I would go to replace values, click on that. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for an empty space basically. So I'll go, what am I replacing it as? I'm replacing at 1019. So all blanks should be replaced as 1019 and then okay. So it's telling me that there are no values here. So let me go and check. So if you filter, so it said null. Okay, good. So those are the ones that are missing. So I'll right click and then go to replace values and then null. Replace values with 1019. Good. Now you can see that the tax bar, the progress bar is now full. So you have 99 records, right? And then you have error free basically. So this is how to deal with missing values. And then the next thing is that we want to split columns to see how this would work. So what we want to do now, we want to split this full name. We're going to split this full name into first name and last name. So to do that, I'll click on the column and then right click and then I would see split column basically down. So I'm splitting by, so I'm splitting by, I can split by uppercase, yeah, by delimiter, let me split by delimiter because there's space in between those two names, so I'll split by delimiter. So enter, select or enter any delimiter. So I'm entering space as my delimiter. So this, like the separator between two texts, is the space. Good. So split at what? Each occurrence of the delimiter. So if I have three names together that have space, so it's going to split into three columns basically. So then let me check for my advanced option. It's on column, split column. Split number of columns to be split into 2. Yeah, so I think that's fine. Okay, good. So I have this, and I have this, Henry, Green, Frank, Evans. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to first name. Just double click on it and just say first name, and then come here and then double click on this and then say last name. Okay, good. Likewise, we can also split this into department and item. So you have department here and then you have item here. So how do you do this? Click on the colon, right click, and then go to split colon. So we're going to split it by delimiter. So what's the delimiter? It's saying, so probably I already figured it out for you that it is actually a custom, right? So I think I split at each occurrence of the delimiter. That's fine. Then I would click OK basically. Good. So I splitted this HR into table, and then I'll call this, double click on this and call this department, and then I'll call this items. Yeah, yeah, so this is pretty much nice. Okay, it's pretty much nice. Yeah, so the next data cleaning step task we're going to look at is merging queries and appending queries basically. So you can, before I move into that, you can do lots of things with this by right clicking. Just want to show you some of the things that you can do. You can actually transform this into lowercase, uppercase, capitalize each word, trim, clean, and the like. So I can say lowercase for instance if I want everything on lowercase. So it's going to show you that on lowercase, but I don't want that on lowercase. So it depends on how you want to see your data. What else can you do again? I've removed touch out, remove duplicate. You can remove error from your data, and then as touch out to replace values and all of that. Alright, so that will be that. Now let's move into merging queries, and then we'll look into appending queries. So for merging queries, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate this for the sake of explanation. So I'll right click here to duplicate, right click, and then you see duplicate, and then you press on duplicate. So now we have two data that we want to merge together. Now before you can merge two columns together, they must have before you can merge two data together, they must have a related column. So that means two columns from almost the same, identical, or even the same basically. So in this our case, we have employees ID, which is the unique identifier. So we are going to come to the second data set, which also have employee ID as the unique identifier. So what do? We kind of merge this together, and then we come here. Once we're done, we go to the home ribbon and then go to the last part, right top corner of your screen. You're going to see merge queries. So click down the drop arrow, and then I'll tick on merge queries basically. So it comes here. So now I have the first data, and then I have the second data. This one says this is the correct one, so I'll choose this. So you have two data that we want to merge together. Like I said, there must be a column where both of them are the same. So in this case, we have employee ID must be the same as this employee ID. So you must check, you must click on the both of them, customer ID, so that it can connect these two together. And then what kind of join do you want to do? Do you want to do a left outer join, or you want to do, so there are many other joins you can do. Right outer join, you have full join, you have inner join, you have left and right join. So for the sake of practice, I would choose only matching rows. That's inner join. Good, only matching rows. So it says 99 of 99. So I'll click OK. Good. So it's repeat this. It's gonna repeat this. So if you have like a column that you want to merge with this table, what did you come to this button here? Click here, and then you can select the columns that you want to expand. So if it's everything you want to expand, it will have to repeat itself except for this employee ID, because I already have it there. So everything is going to repeat itself. The name and everything, they're going to repeat themselves basically. As you can see, the first name, the last name, everything is going to repeat basically. So this is how to merge queries. You merge queries based on the common columns that are associated with those table, and then it does have to be something very complex. I mean, it's very easy to do. Then the next thing is to append queries. How do you append queries? We append queries when we need a continuation of the same table. In this scenario, you have 2025 and then you want to have 2026 data. You can just append it to 2025. Then the following year you have 2027. You append it again with the other data. So like that, you can always append queries. However, to append queries, the columns must be exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing, because you're going to be merging them together on columns that are matching. Okay, good. Then the next thing is to append queries. Now let's come here and then click on this, and then I would go to append query basically. So come here, and then for the sake of simplicity, I will delete this because I'm done with this. Delete. Yes. So I'll duplicate this again for the sake of appending queries. So how do you append queries? So I will go to append queries, click on drop down arrow, append queries. So how many tables am I appending? 2 tables. Just 2 tables. So which table exactly am I appending? I'm appending this. Good. Okay. So what it does is that now we have more than 99 rows, because initially we had 99 rows. Now we have 198 rows. Now plus 99 plus 99 is 198 rows. So that means it puts one at the top and puts the other one at the bottom. So the ones you are merging with the existing data will be down, while the existing data will be at the top. See, this is how we merge and append queries. We've talked about a lot of things, replacements, we've talked about changing data types, we've talked about splitting columns and all of that. We've talked about cases, how to transform data with the case uppercase, lowercase, proper case, and then we've seen some other things like trim that you see in Excel, and all of that. So then you close and apply, and once you close this and apply this, it takes you into Power BI, ready for analysis. Yep. Alright, we're done getting our hands dirty in the mud. So the next thing is your lesson activity. So what you're going to do is connect to the sample data, remove duplicates, fix data types, replace missing values, save and load it into Power BI. Very simple task, just exactly as I have done it. And then what next? In the next video, we're going to be talking about data cleaning with Power BI part 2. Alright, see you.